You've heard me say in other videos that the idea that red meat is bad for you is just pseudoscience. Big Think now agrees with me. They recently published this article about a study that slams all the shoddy research that went into the red meat fearmongering. They start with their key takeaways. Studies have been linking red meat consumption to health problems like heart disease, stroke, and cancer for years, but these invariably suffer from methodological limitations. In an unprecedented effort, health scientists at the University of Washington scrutinized decades of research on red meat consumption and its links to various health outcomes, introducing a new way to assess health risks in the process. They only found weak evidence that unprocessed red meat consumption is linked to colorectal cancer, breast cancer, type 2 diabetes, and ischemic heart disease, and no link at all between eating red meat and stroke. So what we're talking about here is observational studies. This is where you look at, in this case, red meat eaters in the real world and compare them to people who don't eat red meat. So it's not double-blinded or placebo-controlled or anything, but still, an observational study with good methodology is as good a quality as any other kind of study you could want. But if the methodology isn't up to scratch, the data can be confounded by other variables or be very susceptible to bias. In the US particularly, so many people eat red meat that the ones who don't are deliberately avoiding it, probably for health reasons, which means they're most likely taking other approaches to improve their health as well. So you'd need to compare them not to all red meat eaters, but only to those who take those other approaches. And that's just one of many confounding factors that need to be controlled for. Putting all these factors together is called a regression analysis, and regular viewers have seen me do this kind of thing on the channel before. But if zillions of other people have already done studies, then you can look through their data, study the methodology, and see if they came to the right conclusion. You combine all their data together into a meta-regression. And that's what the University of Washington's Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation did with decades of research on the subject. And the result? We found weak evidence of association between unprocessed red meat consumption and colorectal cancer, breast cancer, type 2 diabetes, and ischemic heart disease. Moreover, we found no evidence of an association between unprocessed red meat and ischemic stroke or hemorrhagic stroke. To do this, they developed the burden of proof risk function, which is designed to evaluate and rank the magnitude of various effects and uncertainties to see how open for interpretation the results can be. They computed each health outcome based on a 5-star rating. A 1-star rating indicates that there may be no true association between the behavior or condition and the health outcome. 2 stars indicates the behavior or condition is at least associated with a 0 to 15% change in the likelihood of a health outcome, while 3 stars indicates at least a 15 to 50% change, 4 stars indicates at least a 50 to 85% change, and 5 stars indicates a more than 85% change. And in all of the adverse health outcomes that are supposedly linked to eating red meat, none of them got greater than 2 stars. You've heard me talk about Dr. Stephen Novella before. He said, "The evidence for a direct vascular or health risk from eating meat regularly is very low, to the point that there is probably no risk. There is, however, more evidence for a health risk from eating too few vegetables. That is really the risk of a high meat diet. Those meat calories are displacing vegetable calories." So this is exactly as I've said before. There's a difference between getting too much meat and too few veggies. Look at the page that shows the result of this burden of proof risk function on a number of different factors. Basically, smoking causes everything to go wrong. I mean, it's on this list a lot and is by far the biggest risk factor they looked at. The next biggest was high blood pressure for ischemic heart disease with a score of 0.7 and a 5-star rating. And going through the data some more, we see not eating your veggies is causing ischemic stroke with a score of 0.15 and a 3-star rating, and ischemic heart disease with a score of 1.3 and 2 stars. Basically, once you get below 0.1, there isn't really any good reason to believe there's a cause. The highest risk for a high red meat diet, which is colorectal cancer, was 0.057, a 2-star rating. At that point, it just gets worse, even going down into negative numbers, which means there's no real association at all, and that includes ischemic stroke and type 2 diabetes. So eat your veggies, but don't feel you have to deprive yourself of that nice steak. And you might also want to wonder why so many people are determined to spread health misinformation. So thanks for watching. Comments for the Comment God, shares for the Share Throne, hit like, subscribe, and the bell, and go to donate.bogosity.tv to keep me doing what I do. And remember, if you become a regular supporter at Patreon or Subscribestar, you can get these videos early and ad-free, as well as other benefits. Thanks again, and until next time, stay strong and be free.